Is Willow Creek one of the best places for your Sims to live? Or is it actually a dumpster fire of a world? Let's find out. Welcome to this week's episode of Livable or Leave It. I'm your host, Cher, and this is the only show you can trust for learning which worlds you and your household should move to. From the crime-ridden streets of Forgotten Hollow to the fully HOA-controlled calm of Newcrest, we're ranking every Sims 4 world by quality of life. Our metrics include housing and affordability, access to amenities, and more, to truly paint a picture of whether or not you should be living here. Today, we're going to cover Willow Creek. Willow Creek is one of the original worlds. It's got that clean suburban look. Think a mix of New Orleans, Savannah, and Southern charm. We're talking winding rivers, colonial architecture, and swaying willow trees. You get the vibe. It's green, quaint, and has that soft pastel look that whispers New Orleans, but make it base game. So, is this the dream or just a pretty facade? How livable is Willow Creek really? When we return, we ask the big questions like, where even is this? And why should you care?
Game night doesn't have to break the bank. Instant Gaming has deals on everything from big name titles to hidden gems. So whether you're into farming, fighting, or furniture placement, you're covered. Just click the link in the video description if you want to support the channel. Thank you.
Willow Creek is the classic Sims world. It's serving southern charm, bayou realness, and definite starter town energy. Inspired by Louisiana and the American South, it's all creeks, mossy trees, and white picket fence dreams. There are 6 main neighborhoods, 4 residential, 1 commercial, and 1 centered around a community park. If you know where to click, there's also a hidden one tucked away. In total, 21 lots, including the secret Sullivan Glade. Foundry Cove is your humble starter zone. 5 smaller lots, modest homes, and just a slightly worn down vibe. It's bordered by canals and packed with collectibles. Frogs, rocks, fishing spots, you know the deal. There's even a blooming community garden, perfect for the green thumb Sims. And tucked in one corner, the Sylvan Tree, your gateway to Sylvan Glade, that beautiful, sparkly, peaceful world rich with collectibles that you've been seeing online. Courtyard Lane is your classic family suburb. 5 medium-sized lots, a park with barbecues and picnic tables, and enough room to kick off a multi-generational legacy. It's neat, it's tidy, it's exactly what you expect it to be. Pendula View is what I would call an upgrade. You know, if it's good enough for the Goth family, then it's probably too expensive for me. In fact, Bella Goth was kind enough to give us an interview where she told us Pendula View has been a lovely change of pace. Spacious lots, thoughtful community spaces, and all the little things that make life feel just a bit more livable. Alexander's taken quite a liking to the playground, and Mortimer and I enjoy the chess tables and afternoon picnics by the pond. We've lived many places, but this one feels like home. Sage Estates is where the money lives. This is Willow Creek's Mansion District. 2 huge private lots with landscape yards and sweeping water views. There's also a pretty decent amount of collectibles and fishing spots. Crawdad Quarter is your commercial hub. It's got 4 venues, a museum, nightclub, gym, and library, plus barbecue pits, benches, and fishing spots. It really adds a lot of function to the world. Magnolia Blossom Park sits right in the center of the map. It's loaded with community features, a restroom, playground, grills, collectibles. It's got that classic Sims 4 park, perfect for gaining skills or taking screenshots. Visually, each neighborhood is different enough. The layout is logical and compact and super easy to navigate. It all checks out, but as a whole, Willow Creek plays it pretty safe. It's pleasant, but it falls a little flat. You know what I mean, Jellybean? Like, not in the terms of the terrain. There's some pretty uneven terrain here and there, but you know, it's flat. It falls flat. Let's rate the world overview and neighborhoods as a 7.5. It's got a solid structure and clean layout, but it could use some more personality. Willow Willow Creek comes with a pretty solid mix of households. You've got legacy icons like the Goth family, and then you have other Sims like the BFF sprinkled in. But drama? Not really. Relationships here are wholesome, low stakes, and frankly, a little boring. The pancakes have some light tension, Bob's miserable, Eliza's intense, but there's no deep lore, no messy breakups, no cursed exes hiding out anywhere. It's calm. Maybe too calm. There is some racial diversity. The Spencer Kim Lewises are a blended multiracial family, Liberty Lee is East Asian, and Bob and Eliza are an interracial couple. But by today's standards, it feels like a time capsule. No openly queer Sims, no occult families, and not a single elder living on their own. It's giving 2014. That said, there's decent class diversity. Foundry Cove is your budget zone. These two hit that middle class sweet spot, and Sage Estates is pure upper crust suburbia. So at least the wealth distribution feels intentional. Talking about wealth, you probably already know the employment status of the pre-made households if you've watched this video on our channel. If you haven't watched it, you should. I'll leave the link in the video description, so go ahead, watch it if you want to. Anywho, the world is pretty evenly split. 6 adult Sims have jobs, 5 are unemployed, and 3 Sims are exempt because they're either children going to school or they're a stay-at-home parent. For community feel, Willow Creek earns a 5 out of 10. There are balanced households, but it's missing modern representation and a little narrative spice. Willow Creek has 21 lots total, 13 with homes, 3 empty, 4 commercial, and 1 big old park. Lot size range from 20 by 15 all the way up to 50 by 50. That's not too shabby. A bunch of homes, especially in Foundry Cove, fall under the 20,000 simoleon starter budget, so if you're a Sim just starting off, you won't struggle to move in. These two offer those middle class upgrades, and this one, well, yeah, like you know, is a high-end rich Sim fantasy. Nancy Landgrab, a Sim visiting from Oasis Springs, said that Sage Estates in Willow Creek is a wonderful place to visit for a short while. It's absolutely stunning, but it's giving starter world, and I say that with love. Whether you want to build from scratch or jump into a pre-furnished life, Willow Creek's got options. For a base game world, it's surprisingly versatile. For housing and affordability, Willow Creek is very beginner friendly, solid sense of progression, and great if you like building in your past time. It earns a 7.5. Willow Creek checks all the base game boxes: gym, library, nightclub, and museum. Since 2015, you can even add additional venues manually, if you've paid the right company, of course. Even without all the bells and whistles, the essentials are covered. Skill building's a breeze thanks to the public gardens, fishing spots, and solid spread of collectibles. Alice Spencer Kim, a local mother, said, "As an artist, I love a good view, but as a mom, I appreciate logical lot placement even more. This neighborhood actually supports families. It's walkable, it's tidy, and there's always a spot to sit and breathe while the kids run around." So technically in Willow Creek, there are no functional retail or service buildings. However, in 2015, Magnolia Promenade was made public for the first time. If you're unfamiliar with that world, it's actually an extension of Willow Creek. It's very close to the Willow Creek downtown. And that leads us to this fun fact. The paddle steamer that is regularly seen at the Willow Creek community lots is seen docked in the port near the fishing spots here. So, if you're counting Magnolia Promenade, there are 4 additional lots, including 2 general retail stores, a clothing store, and 1 empty lot. There are 3 secret lots, but for this episode of Livable or Leave It, we're only covering one of them: the Civic Center. This is where the police station and the Willow Creek Hospital are located. As you wander throughout the world, you might notice a ferry boat, streetcars, and numerous cars zooming through the neighborhoods. Unfortunately, you can't access any transportation like that at all. Depending on what you've paid for, your only choice is to walk. It's not as bad as it seems. Willow Creek is laid out logically. The neighborhoods connect visually with pathways, parks, and water features. Lot placement suggests short travel times, even if all you see are loading screens. With all of that being said, there are solid essentials, a smart layout, and great access to nature. This world earns an 8 out of 10 for access to amenities. Cassandra Goth was nice enough to stop for an interview to talk about the daily grind. The first thing we talked about was school, something that she is very familiar with as a current high schooler. Right away she commented, "Kids disappear into school buildings the same way most of us disappear into existential dread. It's a rabbit hole. Teens used to do the same until 2022 when we started commuting to Copperdale High, where things are, unfortunately, a bit more interactive." Goth made sure to point out the fact that there are no visible school buildings that exist on the map, unlike in worlds such as Sunset Valley. Despite not having a physical school in world, the schools are functionally supported from any residential lot. Education is functional, but invisible. Everyone gets to go to school, but there's no actual school infrastructure in Willow Creek. Career-wise, you're good. All base game jobs function here with no issues. Since 2015, residents have had access to retail stores and Magnolia Promenade. With access to this world, Sims can go to the police station or the Willow Creek Hospital to work as a doctor or police officer. Oh, and freelancing, remote work, and creative gigs, all totally viable from your active lot. With only the base game, there really isn't a need for access to healthcare. If you're a pregnant Sim, you can still give birth at a hospital if you so desire. It's simply a rabbit hole. Willow Creek is employment ready with support for both rabbit hole and home-based careers. Education is basic but reliable. Healthcare access can be excellent if you've paid the price for it, otherwise it's non-existent and you don't actually need it. The town may be quiet, but economically it's well equipped. It earns a 7 out of 10 for health, education, and employment. We spoke to Beth Sterling, a civil designer from Evergreen Harbor, about Willow Creek's eco lifestyle. She was able to identify some key parts of what makes Willow Creek good for your soul and gut. For example, Willow Creek has multiple public garden areas and spots around the world where plants spawn seasonally. Most of these gardens already have plants growing, making them ideal for beginner gardeners or rags to riches Sims who want to avoid spending 5 simoleons on starter seeds. Sterling pointed out the huge positive to this world. She said, "Nearly every neighborhood has a fishing spot baked right into the layout. It's not hidden, it's not complicated, it just works." That's good design, and honestly, that's the kind of eco-accessibility I'm always advocating for. Another positive would be that healthy food access is limited to what you cook yourself. But most lots have room for gardening, so homegrown ingredients are viable. And over the years, there's been some services, like grocery delivery or seasonal community food stalls, that have become available. However, these are not free services. They come at a cost. Sterling was able to point out several things that Willow Creek does right. Like, this world is practically begging you to go outside. From the canals to the chess tables and fishing ponds, everything here is usable and totally community focused. Magnolia Blossom Park? Total gem. There's not a strip mall or smoggy storefront in sight. If you're looking for somewhere to raise a healthy, off-the-grid-ish household without actually going off the grid, this is it. If you choose to pay for the service where you learn about eco-footprints, you'll notice that by default, Willow Creek has a neutral eco-footprint. Sterling noted that, unlike certain other worlds I could name, Evergreen Harbor, Willow Creek doesn't come with a built-in pollution problem. No trash mountains, no decayed buildings, just clean air and solid urban planning. Imagine that. This was a fact that made Sterling very happy to hear. She mentioned that if residents want to work together for a green footprint, they would find it would be fairly easy and could be done with a few households installing solar panels, green tech, or making eco upgrades. Willow Creek may look simple, but sometimes that's a good sign. It supports active, outdoor Sims and green living players alike without relying on any expansion packs. That's why it gets a 9 out of 10 for healthy living and Beth Sterling's seal of approval. Since Willow Creek is a base game world, there are no natural disasters. In fact, there are no natural disasters in any of the worlds, really. No wildfires, no earthquakes, no volcanoes that erupt, or spontaneous floods. Since 2018, some Sims have reported experiencing weather here in Willow Creek, and even the changing seasons and different holidays. The weather the Sims were experiencing include thunderstorms, blizzards, and heat waves, but they're relatively rare here compared to worlds like Brindleton Bay or Evergreen Harbor. Lightning can strike Sims or objects, but it's rare enough that you don't need to panic. And if you get hit twice, you might gain special powers. For a short time only. Over the years, changes have given new optional lot challenges that can introduce minor hazards, like if your lot has the Heist Havoc, you'll experience burglars more often. In 2016, increased tremors, weird vibes, and things breaking constantly were reported. Early 2018 brought about increased spiders, bats, and bees. In 2019, there were sightings of increased volcanic activity with lava bombs, ash, and sulfur raining down. A year later, in 2020, residents note that there were a disturbing trend with certain lots where others were using them as a dump site, and where overflowing trash cans became infested with flies and roaches. The following year, in 2021, there was an increase in fox activity, which many note is more annoying than dangerous for Sims, but can be a big nuisance for Sims with livestock. In the middle of 2023, there were reports of fast-spreading prairie grass, which once again is more of an annoyance than life-threatening. Later in 2023, there was a deadly mold making its appearance. Certain strands of mold, if not properly dealt with, can infect Sims and lead to death. Despite these reports, Willow Creek is still a safe place to live. None of this happens in Willow Creek unless you manually add those lot challenges. Fires can happen. Fortunately, since 2020, Willow Creek has had a local fire hall, although it's not something you can visit in World or even see, so you and your kids can't bring the firefighters donuts or Timbits, sadly, for the firefighters, of course. Rest assured that if a fire happens while you're cooking or using electronics, your fire alarm will alert the firefighters and they will teleport, walk to your lot. If you don't own a fire alarm, you can call them yourself for assistance with an unruly fire. It's good to remember fires aren't simply a risk present in Willow Creek. This is something that Sims everywhere might deal with. In the words of Bob Pancakes, nothing really happens in Willow Creek, and that's exactly why I like it. No weird NPCs, no visible crimes, no fires unless I cause them, and the neighbors mostly keep to themselves. Honestly, I'll take boring over whatever is going on in Strangerville. As Pancakes mentioned, there is no criminal activity. Similar to other worlds in SimNation, there is a criminal career, but it's a rabbit hole, so you'll never see that criminal activity unless you're visited by a burglar. Thankfully, a local police station opened in Willow Creek in 2025. Similar to the fire hall, you can call the police if you encounter a burglar, and officers will arrive promptly to arrest the intruder. You can install a burglar alarm. Despite that, this world is extremely peaceful, predictable, and safe. Even too calm for some. Still, the world layout is logical. Neighborhoods are grouped cleanly by function. Each neighborhood has clear borders, water features, and pathways that connect spaces visually. Even though you're jumping between loading screens, the town feels compact and connected. Willow Creek is a suburbia at its safest. It's practically designed to be risk-free, no crime, no chaos, no climate emergencies unless you install them. The roadways are just for show, but the layout is efficient and makes sense. It might not excite thrill seekers, but for everyday gameplay, it's incredibly dependable. With that being said, it earns a 9 out of 10 for safety and infrastructure. Willow Creek is inspired by the American South, particularly New Orleans. You'll notice wraparound porches, iron railings, classical columns and gabled roofs, lots of waterways, mossy trees, and symmetrical street planning. But here's the thing, it's all very polished and restrained. The theme is there, but doesn't go all in like Windenburg's European villages or this world's Mediterranean coast. It feels safe and generic, with just enough personality to avoid being boring, but just barely. So yeah, there's a subtle southern charm, but not much flavor beyond that. At the end of the day, Willow Creek has timeless, neutral vibes. If you're after peace, balance, and stability, this is it. It's safe and solid, but maybe too safe for those of us who like a little drama. Willow Creek earns a 7 out of 10 for aesthetics. Willow Creek was designed to be fully functional, self-contained, and balanced without requiring any of the bells and whistles you might have seen online. You get great green space, safe suburban living, good mix of lot sizes, access to basic venue types, and a secret lot. With that being said, how well do those bells and whistles blend in with Willow Creek? It appears that the residents of Willow Creek are doing just fine without them. Spas, cafes, haunted houses? Sure, those locations would give Willow Creek fascinating points of interest, but but it feels complete without them as well. It may be a bit boring and plain, but it doesn't need new venues to fix the world or to make it feel complete. However, and this is a big however, even if you decide to pay for those extra bells and whistles, it won't automatically make Willow Creek different. There won't be newer venues built into the map. You're welcome to build a karaoke club, a lounge, or vet clinic here, don't get me wrong, but you'll be constructing those structures all by yourself. Willow Creek earns a perfect score, 5 out of 5 for pack independence. It was made to stand alone, and it does so smoothly. You can absolutely upgrade it, but the key thing is you don't have to. It's a solid foundation world. After exploring every inch of Willow Creek from its fishing spots to the central park, it's time to decide. Does the charm of suburban quiet and starter world stability make it worth staying? Or is it just too plain and basic without pushing any boundaries? Is Willow Creek livable, or should we leave it? The final verdict is to leave it. It's solid, dependable, and drama-free, but not particularly exciting. That's why Willow Creek gets a C tier rating in our rankings. Despite having great green space, safe suburban living, and plenty of room to grow, it's also a little plain. The drama's minimum, the aesthetics are safe, and outside of Sullivan Glade, there's not much mystery or magic to uncover. If you're new to the area, it's a fantastic home base. If you're looking for anything other than safe, green, and drama-free, then Willow Creek probably isn't your forever world for your forever save. Another world reviewed, another decision made. Catch us next time on Livable or Leave It, where we ask, is this world worth it, or should we return to the world selection screen?